Audience, or good afternoon, good morning, good late night. It's a global class. We're dealing with global students. So, good day, audience. Okay. It's not a big lengthy class. Probably I'll take around 30, 35, 40 minutes maybe. And the objective of this class will be talking about artificial intelligence, ACCA SBL Artificial Intelligence, and that's the addition. Because this time the examiner or their committee, they have minus few topics and added few topics. So one of the topics, like the important topic, although we already talked about e-marketing thing, the 6 I's. In our course, we talked about the CRM, talked about big data and so many things. But this time they have specifically mentioned this thing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, remote learning. And the course outline specifically says what is artificial intelligence, advantages, disadvantages, something, and then ethical issues, the risk and control, and especially the ethical issues with remote learning. So 2 pages here. And I don't only want to talk about artificial intelligence and advantages and disadvantages. I actually talk about some practical examples because your paper, let me share my screen here. Okay. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll be talking about some practical example, and I mentioned here. So whenever it's coming in my mind, even with practical example, we see here, because when we talk about this market, US market, uh, everywhere, like wherever we come across, whether it's restaurant, the banking, medical, there's so many practical examples we come across which has this artificial thing, and you call it artificial or machine learning or robots. Okay, so here's the thing. What is AI, art intelligence? What is that? So obviously, we know when as a human, when we talk about intelligence or our analytical intelligence, we actually talk about something gifted by God. We learn because we are living thing. We have the curiosity. So when we talk about human intelligence, obviously we learn, we have something in our genes built in. That's why all the humans, they are not equally intelligent. Okay, so obviously ups and downs are there, and then we observe, we learn, we have curiosity and so many things. But when we talk about artificial intelligence, and you guys, you are accountants and you're professional financials and auditors and analysts, so you come across this term, this accounting system. Let me write here, expert system, or we call it integrated accounting system, intelligent accounting system. Because earlier when we used to do accounting, what we used to do, we have this manual thing, manual accounts and all that. You do one entry and then you write another entry, and then you have the accounts and the trial balance and the profit and loss and balance sheet, everything. But now when you have this artificial intelligence, or you call it expert system or integrated accounting system, you just need to enter one input and all the relevant accounts are automatically updated. Okay, this is also one of the examples of artificial intelligence. You do electronic audit. That audit is what? It is all machine learning. It's all remote learning, and it has its own intelligence in terms of, I'm giving you this example because you are already an auditor, you're already done with your auditing paper and accounting. It takes out all the samples by its own, depends upon the past experiences, whatever the mistakes or material misstatement it picked up earlier, it learns. We'll talk about the advantages also. So what is actually AI, artificial intelligence, if we just ignore this expert system? So this is actually a branch, let me write here, a branch of computer science. Obviously, when your intelligence, your own, as a human, your own intelligence, you providing to the machine, you providing to someone which is not a living thing like you and me. So it means you are giving your own intelligence. When we talk about expert system, what is the definition of expert system? That it has human expertise. How it gets human expertise? The human has actually provided the expertise. Okay, so AI is actually a branch of computer science that emphasize, okay, examiner may use the term machine learning or robot mechanism or something like that, that emphasize the development. Now I have some very good practical example, very interesting example of different industries. And your paper is a project-based paper. It always talk about different industries and you know the real thing, the real scenario, and especially the current situation and scenarios going on. The development of intelligence machine thinking and working like humans, because it was gifted by human actually. It is gifted by human. And there is a myth also. Most of the accountants and auditors normally they ask this question, sir, what about in future or even in present, this artificial intelligence thing, this robot learning thing, do you think it's going to overcome human? Now my reply, have you written the definition of this thing? That emphasizes the development of intelligence, machine thinking and working like human, because it's whatever the intelligence they have, they got it from human. Okay, now the question and the fear, and normally the students and even our audience, they ask this question, that sir, do you think in future or in present, like this AI thing, is it going to overcome humans or our jobs? Sorry about my writing. Our jobs, our future, our businesses. Do you think this machine, the computer, the AI, this thing overcome our jobs? No. It's a myth. There are different views, and it also depends upon the industry, depends upon the job, and depends upon the nation, the culture, the environment, the technological advancement. Like, let's say you can compare the developed nation and underdeveloped nation, right? But my reply, quick thing. Let me give you an example. The tiger and the human, tiger or lion, whatever. Okay, if you compare a tiger and a human, which one is more powerful? So obviously, when you talk about the physical part, let me change the color. Obviously, the tiger is more powerful. The lion is more powerful than human compared to human in terms of physical power. And obviously, they have their own intelligence. We are not talking about that. But human is more advanced, learn new things, new technology when it's about this planet. Human is more intelligent. Let me write this term, intelligent. And intelligence makes you smarter. Yes or no? Whenever you are intelligent, you become smarter. And intelligence also brings control to the person who is intelligent. Obviously, the one who is intelligent is actually smart and he has control. Okay. And when human is intelligent, what he or she does, he controls big giant animals, no matter they are powerful. Now here's the reply. Intelligence bring control. Whoever is intelligent is it actually he has the control, he or she has the control. Now if you compare to humans, whenever there are two humans, whoever is more intelligent is actually smarter and has control. It's going to control the other person financially, non-financially, XYZ transactions, supply chain, whatever, politically, economically, geopolitics, whatever. Whenever you are intelligent, this is something like it's a natural thing that a person who is intelligent, the person who is more intelligent, the person or machine, whatever, he gets control also. So when you say this AI thing, so one of the replies, if machines are intelligent and if they becoming more intelligent, obviously intelligence helps you in getting control. So obviously it can control. Yes, this is the reply. Okay, but obviously human, finally they get it from where? From human. But one of the advantage, we'll discuss advantage here, that AI not only get intelligence from the human, but it learns from itself. This is one of the benefits of AI. It learns with the passage of time, it learns from its own experience. Now, every time it does not require human. I'll give you some example. Okay, so examples are Let's start with some common example. For example, speech recognition. Speech recognition, your cell phone. Yes, that's artificial intelligence. Problem solving. Problem solving. You give some data to the machine and it will solve your problem. They normally do it. Problem solving. Decision making. You do in a stock exchange. You give them variables, give them some factors, talk about the market, some variables, and it tells you that this should be the decision, this should be the investment. If you want this ROI or this return on investment or whatever, and it's going to get you all the plan, all the path. Okay, so decision making. You want a budget or something, it helps you in planning. So planning, learning, speech recognition, problem solving. There are so many common examples in which we're dealing with this artificial intelligence thing. All right. Now let me give you some fields, also some industries where it's working. Medical. I have a few good example of medical. They like doing huge with artificial intelligence. Businesses. We have already discussed the e-marketing thing and the CRM and the big data usage and all that. Okay. Law. Okay. And then you have this education. Well, the robots, they become the teachers. Okay. And then your supply chain. I mean, manufacturing and production. It tells you everything about the sales, about your production, what should be the budget, what should, how much raw material should be in stock, everything. Let's talk about medical. Give you some example of medical. Let me write that down. Yeah, telemonitoring. Now they have introduced few devices which is called telemonitoring. What we have in our mind about the doctor and the medical science. Normally, when you are sick, when you are ill, what you do, you go to the doctor and then you physically go to the doctor, or sometimes you call also, but normally you go physically to the doctor and they check up everything. So okay, but now what they do, they give you a device, like in US it's very normal, which is called telemonitoring thing. They give you a device and that device is actually an artificial intelligence. Okay, that device is connected with the medical system or with the doctor system or the doctor station or whatever you say, and then it tells you you don't need to go to the doctor because you are in contact with the doctor, but you don't need to physically go to the doctor. It will test the pulse rate and the sugar rate or whatever it is. It will tell everything to the doctor, and every time the doctor doesn't need to see it, like every time they can see in front of the camera, in front of the machine, in front of the station. This machine knows that for this particular patient, if the pulse rate is this, although I'm not a doctor, if this is the pulse rate, that's the diabetic rate or whatever, the heartbeat rate or whatsoever. If this goes here, it is automatically gives you an alarming system to the doctor. Okay, it's just like one more example. Apple Watch. There's Apple Watch. See here, the one I'm wearing right now. I think in Apple Series 5 or Series 6, in this one, like this is Series 5, they introduced a system that it tells me what is my heartbeat rate and the pulse rate, and also in case if something goes low, like which you call the emergency thing, it can give me the alarm that, hey, this is the thing going on, or for past few days, this is your pulse rate or your heartbeat rate or whatever. And also it has this function that in case of emergency, it can direct call to 911 or to any emergency number or something. Also, it has this artificial intelligence. For example, if I stand up and I sit down, I sleep, or I take rest, it knows my position. But when I sit, like right now, I'm taking class, so I walk when I sit. But this is not an emergency sitting. This Apple Watch knows in case I fell down. So I fell down, sometimes I go down and I do exercise. But that's not emergency. So it knows that suddenly if somebody fell down in any XYZ direction, so it has this artificial intelligence that there is some problem going on, and this is an emergency, that this person just fell down in a very absurd position. It's going to call 911 or any emergency number. So this is also one of the example of medical and what do you call this, artificial intelligence or telemonitoring thing. But telemonitoring, this is very normal in US nowadays. So you don't need to go to the doctor. Even there are so many devices also, like one of my neighbor, like now this is not telemonitoring. This is nothing to do with the doctor. Nowadays there are devices. It's just like a chip or something. You just put it here and it will tell you on your cell phone that what's your sugar rate going on. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you drink water, what's the rate? If you do exercise, then what's the rate? Right now, if you're having this thing, so you can manage your lifestyle. They know everything. So this telemonitoring thing, same case with the home security system. They have artificial intelligence system and they also monitoring. Like the humans, they are not actually monitoring. It is the system, it is the smart system which gives you and which has the indication, like for example, they know what time I put the alarm on and what time I wake up and I open the door and I close the alarm. So in case of something, and they're learning from my past month and years experience. So in case if something goes wrong against the variable, they'll just give me a call. And if I don't receive the call the police. This is some problem, maybe the fire department. Okay, so here's the businesses, law, education, supply chain and all that. Let me give you one example of supply chain here. Amazon. So many friends of mine, they're doing work on Amazon. They are just, even I used to sell on Amazon, but now right now I'm not doing it. But my friend, they are doing their seller, not the customer. They are the seller of Amazon. So Amazon, whenever let's say they buy, they have this product. Give you an example. Let's say the mouse. This is the product, computer mouse. So when they manufacture computer mouse, let's say thousands of hundreds of thousands from China or from Japan or whatever, and then the artificial intelligence of Amazon tells them that, okay, if you are bringing 100,000 product, send 50,000 product to California warehouse, 10,000 product to Dallas warehouse, 10,000 warehouse to Seattle and all over Canada and Europe or whatever, if you're doing it global. My friend was telling me that whenever I have to send, to the warehouse, to the warehouse of Amazon, the Amazon tells me that I want this number of product, for example, 4, 5, 6, whatever, at this particular location. Now, this is very interesting example, at this particular location. Which location? Let's say California. And you know what he told me? That whenever the Amazon system tells me that I want this number of products at California or Southern California, whatever, that particular county, and right after, like in few hours, maybe in a day, I get an order. Because the Amazon knows that at this particular location, that's why they are so competitive. They say same day delivery. How is that possible? How is that possible with human intelligence? It is all artificial intelligence. Their algorithm tells that yes, at this particular location, if the customer placed order of this XYZ product of whatever at this particular time and this number of units whatsoever. Now this is the expiration date. So the particular product or the brand has to be there so that they can have same day delivery or the next day delivery. Now who can do this? They can do this without this algorithm and without this machine learning and artificial intelligence thing. And not only it's about the product, but it's about the complementary product as well. And if somebody is buying, let's say somebody is buying this iPad. So obviously with this iPad, what the algorithm says, it says that, okay, with this iPad, definitely they'll buy this cover as well. So, okay, so if the iPads are there, so they'll give a ring or a message to the supplier or the seller of what? Or the seller of those leather products or this product or whatever the complementary products. This is all they're doing, and they're becoming more and more competitive. This is how they manage the supply chain. They can do it without what? Without artificial intelligence, without machine learning. And that artificial intelligence, obviously they get this intelligence, but now this artificial intelligence is learning based experience. For example, one more thing. They human consumption. They know human consumption of a particular city, sorry about my writing, or a particular county, or a particular state, let's say. Give you an example, tissue paper, milk. Amazon knows, because I do online ordering of milk. Amazon knows my milk consumption. that at this particular day is going to order. Because last time if he ordered 3 gallon, this is now the based on my experience, this is the usage. So this time he has to order. So that particular thing has to be in the whole food warehouse or whatever, and I'll get it like in 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. That's it. I can wait for 2-3 days for milk. Okay. So this same with tissue paper and all that. So this is all based on their experiences. There's something about Amazon here. Yeah. Give you one more example here. Uber. It's one of the guy told me about Uber and Lyft. Yeah, Lyft also, Uber and Lyft. This is the driver. Okay. Now, once again, best example of artificial intelligence, which human can predict. This is, let's say, Mr. X is the driver. Mr. X told me this thing. Well, I'm the driver, and let's say I'm at XYZ road. Okay. I'm here. I turned as a driver. I turned on my Uber thing, and I'm looking for passengers. Okay. Uber sends them message that if you drive to ABC Road for me, not for any passenger, nothing, I'll give you $3. Because Uber knows that at this particular day and a time, at this time, with this weather, and in this month, right now, at this minute and second, there is a low demand here at XYZ road. We need more drivers at ABC road, whatever it is, it's the downtown or whatsoever. Okay. So they give motivation to the driver that, okay, don't run your brain, don't use your mind, listen to us, just go to ABC road and we'll give you $3. And the driver says, when we go and we get $3 from Uber, as we go to ABC road, we just step in and we get passengers. So it means that Uber, their algorithm tells them that this time more passengers are there, we need more drivers here, and then maybe after 3 hours, we don't need people here at ABC road, we need someone at XYZ road. For example, weekend nights. Weekend nights. If I'm talking about this country, obviously people drink, and you're not supposed to drive when the rate is 0.08%. You can drive under influence. That's a criminal felony thing. So what's that? It means on weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, all that, when people go to downtown, they drink, they can't take their cars there. So it means Uber drivers have to be there. So that night, Uber gives what? They give incentive to the drivers that you have to be there because Uber is going to earn from those passengers. So that's the thing. One of the example of artificial intelligence here. All right, let me give you one more example, which I use. Flight app. So there is an app, let me tell you the name of the app. You can also use that one. It's Flight Radar 24. I use this app. Flight Radar 24. This app tells you that right now, like I'm talking about the whole planet, right now, how many planes are currently there in the air. Okay, which plane, which brand, which airline, from where it started, when it started, and what time it's going to land. This is all artificial intelligence because it tells you the specific, the exact time that it's going to touch the ground. Now, for example, one of my relatives coming from, let's say from UAE to Dallas, they tell me, okay, this is my ticket. The ticket is not artificial intelligence, although airlines have their own experiences and their own robot learning and their own Boeing and Airbus, they also tell you exactly. But they tell me, okay, we'll be landing at 4 o'clock. But I don't look at that ticket and whatever they say. I look at this app. So when they say 4 o'clock, I look at their aircraft. Okay, right now it's in Oklahoma, or it's entered in New York, now in Oklahoma, now in Dallas. It tells me that exactly after this thing, it's going to land. So I start my location from here now. Then I look at my Google Maps or my Apple Maps. That from here right now, if at this particular time, let's say it's 4 o'clock or 4:30 and it's Wednesday right now, let's see if I go from McKinney to Dallas airport, how long will it take? So I'm using actually two apps. The first app, which is the Flight Radar 24, and the second is we call the Google Maps, or I use Apple Maps actually. So I'll see Apple Maps. When it's say 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., and this Apple Maps tell me that if I start driving it, maybe it will take like 30 minutes. So what I'll do, and the other judgment, that's a different story, that how long will it take in immigration, something like that. So I'll start driving at 3:30. 3:30 I'll start driving from here. I'll be there at 4 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. Now this is once again artificial intelligence, because why, how it can tell you so exact? Because it learns from his own experience. For example, the aircraft. For example, the wind speed. For example, the cloud and weather, the route. And there are so many things which it learns from its own past experience. So if this was the cloud, this is the weather and the destination and all that, normally 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late or 7 minutes early or maybe 1 hour early or something like that. So this is also a very good example this aviation industry is using. Okay, with artificial intelligence. Then we have, let me tell you here, give you some example. On Siri. Those who are Apple user, they know Siri is a perfect example of AI. You talk to Siri. Some people talk to Siri for 2 hours, 3 hours. You talk to them, there is no human, or there is no what do you call in Apple company? What is that? The Apple Store or Android Store or Google Store. There are no humans there. It's all artificial intelligence. You ask them about the joke, about the story, about the weather, like you just name it. It tells you everything. It tells you everything. It tells all. This is Siri is a perfect example of artificial intelligence. Then Tesla, this car, this smart car, or I call driverless car. It tells you everything. Even my own car, I don't have Tesla, but my latest car, it tells me when I drive, like especially for a long drive, then it tells me now you should take tea. Now you are tired. Why? Because of its experience. Then how many times I left my steering, for how long the engine is on, at what speed I'm driving, and then how many times I come out of the lane and all that. So there are so many features, but this is going to be a driverless car, Tesla. Like in future, you'll be sitting at the back, whether you're drunk or what, no more Uber. You just sit at the back and tell you. Even right now it drives. You just tell them the destination. Although there are a few accidents happening because it's not completely right. It's not completely here doing it the driverless thing, but it knows where to stop, what are the lanes, where is the light. Even our cars tells us what's the legal speed allowed and what speed we are going. It actually monitors the speed of other car. This is what my car is. Even I don't have a Tesla right now, but it does. Like if, for example, if somebody is going on 70 miles per hour and I'm going on 70 miles per hour and I put the extended cruise, if the person next to me is slowing his car, dropping the speed, let's say 60, it will do the same. 50, it will monitor it. It will stop. My car is going to stop maybe 10 or 20 feet. It means, what is that? This is all learning. This is all intelligence. This car is intelligence. It's taking the decision just like human. Same with the weather. The wipers turn on. You don't need to turn it on. This I'm talking about other than Tesla. Tesla is very smart car, very intelligent car. Then you have this thing, Cogito. Let me give you a very practical example. This is actually robot voice. You talk to robot. When I call Bank of America, let me give you a practical example. When I call Bank of America or Wells Fargo, just after the first ring, it says, I'm a robot. It clearly says, I'm a robot, but I understand complete sentences. Whatever is your problem, just tell me your question and I'm going to reply you. So when you ask question, let's say I need to know my account balance or whatever, or my social security or things like that. Okay. When I give them the question or my statement, when I say it learns or it does the process. You can hear it does the process and then it replies. It does the process and then it replies the second question. So it says like robot in robot voice. Okay, I am a robot, but I understand complete sentences. That's also one of the example of human intelligence. Then your Netflix. So in examination, you can expect any industry, Netflix or Amazon Prime. That's also artificial intelligence. You have different accounts on Netflix, maybe your wife account, your mother account, your own account, your sister account. When you go on your account, it knows what you like, what you dislike, which program you want to see. It knows based on experience. Okay, you want to watch whatever, which program or which season or what, and how many hours you spend. That's why Netflix is not only working for the consumer, Netflix actually tells to the producer as well. It actually tells the producer. It's not only for the consumer like you and me. It tells to the director, to the producer, to the investor that, hey, in US or in this particular nation, this particular area, this is the rating and this is what people like it. So you better invest in those things. You better invest in comedy things or violence thing or politics or whatever in this particular language. So that's why, and you know that in Netflix, whenever you switch on Netflix and it tells you these are the 10 movies today in like top 10 movies or top 10 season of US, but in Pakistan, in India, it tells you differently. In Pakistan, so it means its own intelligence system working differently on like with this geographical dispersion, geographical segment it has. Okay, but that's again very good example of robot mechanism. Then comes the DN of music, Pandora. Normally people use that also. Then you have this Google thing, the Nest. This is a product of Google. You have this box server for traveling. Good example, flying drones. Flying drones. Drones are very intelligent these days. Drone cameras, drone delivery, they are very intelligent. They know where is the obstacle. Once again, the wind and the weather and all that, the destination. Even my thing, let me tell you here, this thing. There you go. This is the stabilizer. Nowadays I'm not using it, but sometimes when I don't have a cameraman, you know, I make videos. So what it does, I have to put my mobile phone and my turn on the camera, and this is actually electronic device. It's not just a tripod thing. This is it's an electronic device, and then it has to recognize my face, tell them that this is the face in this particular video, and then what happened when I move, it moves with me slowly. I don't need to hold it. We have a holder and everything. It moves with me. When I sit, it goes down slowly. When I go up, it goes up. When I move here, all that thing it does. What is this? This is also an intelligence system, and same thing, it happens with the drone. You tell your drone, you show them the bike. Okay, this is the bike. This is the object for today's ride or for today's video. And then it will go up at this particular height, whatever the height you mentioned, and then you start riding. It knows the object, then there are obstacle. It has to minus plus the obstacle, and then when you press the button, it knows where it has to land. Like this is flying. Drones are intelligent, and drones are not only for this video thing. Drone is for delivery. They're doing the delivery. Like if I want something, the drone will come in my backyard and I'll get my stuff. Drone is for war. Most of the people they know about this drone thing, drone attacks. All right. One more product, Eco by Amazon. This is Amazon product, like the one we talk about, the Siri thing, and also this Alexa. Alexa is also one of the examples of this AI, artificial intelligence. Even nowadays, the smart TV and the smart fridges. Let me give you this example. This is also a very good example. Smart fridge. I think 4 or 5 years back, I made a video on a smart fridge. The fridge knows, your own fridge knows your inventory. It knows your inventory. That how many eggs left, the milk, the vegetable and all that. It makes a checklist thing. It can remind you where to place an order, and also it can connect and it tells you where the blueberries are available and at good price, whether it's Walmart or Target or Amazon or whatsoever. Even it can place an order also. Okay, it can place it. It's connected, like it's just like your cell phone. So your fridge tells you everything, whatever the inventory you have, where to place an order, the recipes, and everything it will tell you. It's a big screen, I've seen. It's a big, huge screen on the fridge. So smart car, smart fridge, and all that. All right. So, what's the big benefit of AI? Continuous improvement. That's very important. Continuous improvement. Learning from experience, its own experience. And when you'll go for the audit and the articles and all that, you'll see the intelligence system of these, especially these big four audit firms. They learn from their own experience. Hey, last time this was the related party, this was the surname, the Mirchawala thing. So next time, if I see in any simple thing the Mirchawala, I will highlight it. You don't need to have human there. It learns from its own experience. Even let's say talk about IFRS or US GAAP. If you while doing the audit, if you stuck in any IFRS or any IS, that particular intelligent system or the big four, I've seen that intelligent system, it will, let's say you say deferred taxation, you're stuck somewhere, you can just click on that and it's going to teach you much better than a teacher. So that's why I said in education, in businesses, in law, in medical, everywhere you see AI. So here, learning from experience. And then one more benefit, it tells you the trends, it tells you the patterns. Once again, it's whether it's medical science or supply chain or delivery system or whatever. Then smart decision making, way smarter than human, smart decision making. Because once again, when you talk about the big data, how can you manage it? If you're running a small mom and shop store or small grocery store or something, okay, I understand that was a small data. That was a limited data. So there was one guy who knows, he has this booklet thing. He knows that, okay, I have the rice, sugar, and drinks and everything. And he used to manage this. I'm talking about when I was a kid. Okay. But when you talk about the big data thing, it's not possible for a human to, interpret the data and do this smart decision making and planning. Then solving complex, especially when you talk about this globalization thing, talking about this multinational thing, you're talking about different areas and segments and reporting and information. Yes, solving complex problems. This is one of the benefits. Yes, one more thing, let me write here, the automation thing, reducing the risk of errors, but obviously there are disadvantages also. We'll talk on that. And definitely then we'll talk about ethical issues. That's very interesting. There you go. Negative, or I can call it limitations. Negative, disadvantages, problems. Important, very important. Resistance. This is the limitation, or this is the problem, I can say. I don't want to call it disadvantage, but resistance. In most of when you bring a change, or especially when you talk about this artificial intelligence, I just said in the class that most of the students, I get a lot of messages, most of the student accountant auditors, they say, so what is our future? So this is the thing, the resistance thing. Because whenever you introduce artificial intelligence, whenever the senior management or the shareholders, whenever they introduce it, people normally resist it because they think, and this is true actually, okay? Whether you talk about this, let me give you an example, autopilot, or you talk about this drone thing, or this robot customer service. It's all taking the jobs. Then one more thing, garbage in, garbage out. This how machine works. Whatever the input you give them, it will get you that output. So it means if there is any error, give you a practical example. Sometimes, although the cell phone is listening everything, whatever you do, wherever you click, and it knows your taste, even they're reading your message. We'll talk about this ethical issue. But sometime by error, by mistake, we click. For example, I have nothing to do with women dress, But for example, I just click on it by mistake because let's say I'm sleepy, or I just woke up, I just touch my cell phone thing, and it has a touch screen, and by any mistake I touch that thing. Or maybe let's say, give one more example. Uh, any kid, small young child, and they touch some adult material, although it's not relevant for them, but the machine, what the machine will think? Machine will think that this, from this particular IP address, from this particular machine, or from this particular user, they are interested in this video or in this product, and they will start trying to sell this product to you, which is actually a wastage of resource, and it's actually error. So this is garbage in, garbage out. If they are getting wrong things, and this used to happen also. Normally the competitor, they used to do this thing with e-marketing. Okay, with each click, if I have to pay with each click, what my competitors, although now they have good controls and risk management on that, what my competitor is going to do, okay, he will hire a person, and what that person is going to do, okay, just start clicking. It's an irrelevant thing, but the machine, the artificial intelligence, they like, what sort of interpretation they'll get? They'll get this interpretation, yes, this guy is interested in this product. So yes, sometimes interpretation of results, interpretation of data and result go wrong. That is one of the problem. One more limitation, small and medium enterprises, they can afford, especially at the beginning when you have to put more investment, the cost, the time, or I call the expertise. So this is one of the limitations for small and medium-sized enterprises. Let's say in examination, you get a case study of a small enterprise, a medium enterprise, but they have huge competition with organization. This could be one of the limitations. I don't call it disadvantage, but this is the limitation, that every organization, they can have it, okay? But even with big organization, let me just change the color here. With big organization, this interpretation of data thing, or sometime, well, most of the time they're fine, but sometimes like they target irrelevant user, okay? And time and resource, I said, interpretation of result, data acquisition might be incorrect, right? Data acquisition might be incorrect. Example, wrong service, or sometimes intentionally people give wrong information, okay? Wrong information. So that's the problem with the, obviously, if you're a human and you're running a shop, and you have a consumer, let's say 5-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid, 7-year-old kid, and he asks about any birth control pills or condoms. Say, oh, you know that you're human. He or she is not a target audience for that. Okay, but the machine does not understand this. If there is anything and they click by mistake, it will take it, and every time they'll see all these things. Okay, they need this thing. They never want it at this particular age. All right, we'll talk about some ethical issues here. One more good example of machine learning. Self-checkout. This is a very interesting example. Self-checkout. Nowadays, the Walmart, the Kroger, the Target, all these organizations, what they do, they're trying to reduce their costs, so they don't have this checkout thing. Normally what happens, we go, we have the cart, we put the stuff, we go to the person, and they scan everything for us, or sometimes we do it for them, and they take the cash or credit card, whatever. See, that's a normal traditional way they do. Okay, obviously there are also different intelligence and technological things, but nowadays nothing. Okay, nothing is there, no human is there. So that's called the self-checkout thing. But how this self-checkout works, based on my experience, let's say I have 5 products. Okay, now that machine knows When I come and I scan, obviously it has that data that this particular product is, let's say, $4 or something like that. But it won't let me do it until and unless I scan and I put it on the other surface, and at that particular area where I put that stuff, let's say whether it's a pen or it's a bottle or something, it actually calculates the weight. So I can recall my experience. One day I had 5 products and I didn't want to have one product. I actually want 4 products, but I have that product and I want to return it actually. I don't want it. But I had no idea that I should not have put that particular product on that surface. But what I did, I put all those products there. And it rings a bell, and the manager comes to me and he said, okay, yeah, you don't need to put it here. Because it actually, what we think that we brought the products and we'll scan it and we'll give the cash or whatever the credit card is, and it will let you go. No. Once you get the product, you scan it, and then before you put in the bags or plastic bag or something, you have to put that in a particular surface, and that surface actually calculate the weight also. So this is also one of the good example of artificial intelligence. It's replacing the human, and it knows what? It knows the price, the product, whether this product comes in quantity like dozens or something, this product comes in kgs or liters or units or what, and what is the weight. So it's actually counter checking. But obviously there are risks. So this is also one of the example of artificial intelligence. Then and then we come to this ethical issues. I gave you example of Amazon, this Uber. Yep, this is ethical. Yeah, tax department, IRS, you call FBR. Okay, hundreds of thousands of people, they submit their tax returns, right? They submit their tax returns, but few people, they got a letter from IRS about the audit. Okay, for this tax returns, you'll have to we are going to open your case and we need some sort of information. It means your audit. Sometimes it happens. How? Hundreds of thousands of people in US. IRS don't have this much fund that they have each and every person, each and every inspector, for all the citizens, all the taxpayers. So this is once again this algorithm thing. This is how it works. It knows all the graph of, let's say I'm Mr. A. It has my SS number, my social security number. It has my past time, my past tax returns. They know about how many companies I have or how many jobs I do, my dependents, my wife, my kids, and all that. The cars, the motor vehicle, the house I have, my expenses and everything. It will do what? It has its own intelligence and it has its own graphical thing, all complete algorithm. Okay, last year he submitted this much, this year this is the wealth statement, this is the asset thing. Suddenly, if it's a big change in my income or in my tax return or tax submission or something, automatically it will send a letter to me. There is no human involvement. This is also artificial intelligence right here. Same case with big operations. When they do some big sting operations, high-fi operations, especially for the criminal things, let's say money laundering thing. Let's say big tax frauds. So it's not about they're humans, they do these things. There's a possibility once the artificial intelligence thing is done, the machine is done, and it tells you the graph, the ethnicity, and everything. And then obviously this is final operation obviously is done by the human. Okay, but before that, 95% of the work is done by the system. It tells you, yes, okay, these are the companies, this is the area, this is the guy, he has partnership in this company, this company, this company, this is the graph, this how many houses he has, and in this year suddenly this happened due to COVID, this happened. It tells you everything, and then highlight, okay, it requires an operation, or it requires further investigation. I can call it forensic audit or something. All right. And obviously based on past experiences. Now, the last thing, ethical issues. Okay, one more thing. Right now, we dealing with weak artificial intelligence. Okay, let me write here. Let's talk later. Right now, we are dealing with weak artificial intelligence. But in future, the plans of the companies and the plans of this, data scientists, that they want strong artificial intelligence. Now, what is the strong artificial intelligence? Right now, we are in weak artificial intelligence. Strong means the complete replacement thing, like way higher. Okay. Even right now, the intelligence is black box. Why do you call that artificial intelligence is a black box? What do you mean by black box? Black box means that whatever the data it's getting, or whatever the data it's actually processing, let me write here, processing or analyzing or interpreting or decision making. Obtaining the data, processing, analyzing, and whatever the data or interpreting and taking the decision, it is not disclosed completely or maybe partially to the user, to the relevant party. Let's say, give you an example, recruitment and selection. Okay, I am an employer. I placed an advertisement. You guys submitting your CV. You come to me. We did an interview and everything. And later on, I said, okay, sir, you are not selected. And then I tell you the reason also. So why you're not selected, because of experiencing or because of this or what, or maybe we don't have demand or something. But when you talk about this artificial intelligence thing, in this recruitment and selection thing, they don't tell you whatever it's processing, and in right away it's giving you an answer. For example, loan rejection or job rejection or visa rejection or something. That's why it's called black box. Black box means the beneficiary is not getting a complete information about the process, about the SOP, whatever is going on. Okay, that's why this artificial AI is a black box. Okay, now let's talk about the ethical issues, the moral issues with artificial intelligence. The big moral issue, the big artificial issue, the big ethical issue is this thing. Privacy is actually the privacy thing. Is actually the privacy of your, for example, your belief. You don't want your belief to be disclosed. Maybe your orientation, for example, your sexual orientation. Who am I? I don't want to disclose it. And I don't want any machine or for example, my sexual orientation, some privacy matters. Give an example. Okay, listen to it. When you go to Walmart, I have this practical example. Okay, I have observed this, like that's my personal experience. If you go to Walmart, huge Walmart, and if you spend some time in a particular section, that system knows, they have this system, it knows by obviously with this thing and with your credit card and with your chip and all that GPS thing, it knows about your interest. For example, pain killing pills. Okay, sometime when I go and spend time over there, let's say buying a toothpaste, or they know that I have some problem with my teeth, or let's say I just said painkillers. If you spend time over there, if somebody spend time, let's say I just said this privacy thing, let me give you an example. Birth control pills. People don't want this is a private matter, like how many kids, what is my plan. Huh? They don't, like you and me or any person, any normal person, they don't want it to be known by someone, by for example, my belief, my sexual orientation, my future birth control issue. How many, I just said about Amazon, Amazon knows, just like the tissue papers and just like the milk consumption, they also know how many times a married person does sex. Yes, obviously, because they have all this consumption trend. So that's why people are against, and this is one of the big ethical issue, big moral issue about the privacy and your, say, this security of information. And that's why there's so many disclosure now, the social media thing, the Facebook, the Instagram, and the WhatsApp and all. They ask you that, okay, we'll use your location thing, we'll use this thing, use that thing. So when they are getting all that information, people don't like it. I don't want even my political belief, whether I'm a Republican or Democrats, whom I support, I don't want this to be disclosed to someone. This is my private issue. Okay, so this is one of the ethical issue. The first thing, privacy and this surveillance thing. I don't want to be monitored by any organization. Biasness, discrimination. We just talk about the negative points of artificial intelligence. That's GIGO, garbage in and garbage out. Sometimes they get wrong result, wrong information, and they start doing, they're going to be biased, or sometimes they provide you irrelevant information. So that's also morally not good. Then in this privacy thing, I have one more example here. They read your messages. Nowadays, in our organization, what we do, whatever the emails I get, sometimes I don't need to write an email. I get an email from my manager or from my colleague or something, and this intelligent system, it tells me, it actually gives me a suggestion, hey, this could be a reply, this could be a reply. And 99% time, that's a good reply, and I just have to click it. It means the system is actually reading my messages. Last week, what happened? My neighbor asked me, hey, he has dogs and all. He asked me that, hey, can you do at 8 o'clock, because he was not home. So he told me in the morning that, can you do at night at 8 o'clock, you open the door, this front door, and do this stuff, and then just close it. I said, okay. He messaged me. I said, okay. Right after the message, I got a suggestion from, like, I'm talking about, I got a suggestion from Apple or Siri or my messenger thing, that how about you need to create a plan. Do you want to create a plan, or do you want to set an alarm or something? It means whatever the conversation we're doing, they know it. So that's the privacy and surveillance issue, and it's not a human over there that they have some sales assistant guy, Mr. X or Mr. Y, Mr. Robert. No, this is the machine, and it's uncontrollable doing it. So that's the privacy, the surveillance issue, the biasness and discrimination thing, whether it's about the visa thing, whether it's about the recruitment and selection thing and all. Then role of human judgment. This all work is for the human. When machine is there, artificial intelligence is there in most of the profession, and that's the same with the audit. It becoming more and more role based, or more and more burden. Why? Because the machine is actually doing whatever the law says. Okay, whatever the rule says, whatever the standard says, is doing it. So that particular profession, human judgment is actually reducing. Human involvement is actually reducing. Human is actually the owner of this whole profession, is actually the creator and inventor of that. So this is also one of the ethical issue, that human judgment is going down, is reducing. And most of the people, they are not opting such professions now, because human, I can call it, let me use this term, status quo, or we can call the importance of human skill, that's going down. Like, I was the founder, I was the inventor. Maybe I introduced a particular concept, I introduced my college, I introduced my subject to so many things, and then the robot comes and start teaching, and the robot is actually replying, and the robot is doing everything. Now this online system, this is not a robot thing. Here, it's all my intelligence. Okay, you ask a question, I reply. Right now, I'm giving you a lecture and everything. But obviously, it's about artificial intelligence. The thing is that when I am not doing it, somebody else, especially a robot, and they do it. Let me see. Yes, this example. The robot writes article for you these days. They do article for you. They do your assignment. See, even sometimes I just said I get a message or I get an email and I have suggested things. So it means if you want to create a relationship, just kidding. If you want to create a relationship, but you don't have time, like after work and after job, or maybe in the job you're not supposed to use your cell phone. Maybe the future is you put it on auto. So if somebody, she is messaging you like I love you, and it will automatically reply I love you too. How about the dinner? Okay, this place. It will do everything for you, or maybe more than one. Just kidding. Okay, more than one people can manage. So that's the thing. Like all the relationship will become automated in future. You know, these replies, suggested replies, and all that. Yep. We talk about this. We talk about IRS. It's very interesting. We talk about telemonitoring, medical security system. You know what? In US, starting from elementary school, like let's say 5th grade or 6th grade, middle school or 4th grade, they are actually, I'm talking about my kids, creating chip. They're doing the coding and they're making robots with some assignments. They give assignment to the robot and robot does it. This is what my kids are doing. At what? 5th grade, 4th grade, they have these chips. They do the coding, they put the chip in the robot and the robot does it. That's the thing. We talk about the black box, like based on historical data and all that recruitment application, how they do it, especially the loan application, the visa application, the recruitment application. It has few things and boom, you're out. We talk about narrow or weak artificial intelligence, that right now, whatever the intelligence we have with so many mistakes, that's called narrow or weak. But what is their long-term goal? It's strong intelligence. And maybe in long term, it will take over, I can use this term, human cognition, the act of knowing. Learning everything, privacy issues, data breaches, human jobs, delayering, we talk. And as data scientists, obviously, it is our responsibility to train machine. That's very important. It's to train machine. Like that's the responsibility of the data scientist. Like if organizations are introducing such thing, it is their responsibility to train machine. Like just we do with our kids, just we do with our employees, and we do with ourselves. Okay, behave. Okay, behave. Don't ask this question. For example, an interviewer, as an interviewee, let's say we're doing this. So we teach not only to the interview, we teach to the interviewer as well. That hey, interviewer, you're not supposed to ask this question to the interviewee. Okay, for example, what are your future family plan? You're not supposed to ask sometimes. Okay, most of the time. It is not good. So like the way we teach to human and to our kids and to our peer and to whom we actually the boss, we teach them. They behave. Same thing we need to do as a data scientist to machines. We need to train machines that hey, behave. Okay, behave with this biasness. Which data to pick up, and when you get the data, what to do with that data. Don't sell it. Okay, when you get the data, how to process it, how to analyze it, all these things. Robot calls, I give you an example. Give you an example of efficiency. Let's today iPhone 12, iPhone 13, iPhone 11, whatever, it's launched. Okay, let's say iPhone 12 is launched. The machine knows that today 99% of the calls will come from iPhone 12. Hey, iPhone 12 is available, this color is available, this memory is available, and all that. Although they have everything on their website, but still people call, like me, the old people. So when I call them, the first thing they say, you calling for iPhone 12? Like, not like a normal telephone calls. In normal telephone calls, obviously they have robots and things. But whenever you call their store, they'll say, for this particular time or for this week or a month, are you calling for iPhone 12? We have this in the segment. Are you calling for iPhone 12 or iPad or MacBook or whatever? If they introduce something new, give you one more example, COVID. In COVID time, most of the people, they call for what? They call bank that, hey bank, we're not in the position to pay our monthly payment in this time for the next 6 months, or for our car payment, or for a house mortgage or something like that. So the banks know that 99% calls will get. So whenever you call them, the first thing that, do you have a problem with the COVID? Do you have problem with your payments and all that? Press 1 or press 2 or whatever. So they have a specific system for COVID-19. That's also a good example of credit card, mortgage default, something like that. Admission time in ACCA. Even the colleges know, okay, this is June, July, this is August, that's the time when admission will start. So what sort of artificial intelligence we need? That's it. So in examination, get ready. Every time in examination of ACCA SBL, we have this normally, let me write here, this tag thing, we have it. Okay, sometime in the form of big data, sometime in the form of CRM, sometime in the form of e-marketing and all. Now they may introduce this thing, artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence has to do with CRM, has to do with obviously big data, has to do with e-marketing thing, or e-procurement thing, or e-supplying or whatever. So maybe you can expect Uber, you can expect a medical thing, medical industry for artificial intelligence, Uber with artificial intelligence. In 2018, we got a question for what? Airbnb, yes, Airbnb. Or maybe about the education systems, medical system, Uber system, marketplace. Marketplace, for example, Amazon supply chain. So you can expect any industry, and you see one of the requirement could be artificial intelligence. So maybe you can use artificial intelligence or machine learning or robot mechanism or whatever. All right. Okay. So if you have any question, just let me know. Let me write my WhatsApp number also here. That's 6341. This is the code +1 951 380 6341. You have my email address also. You have my WhatsApp. This is also my WhatsApp number. My local number as well. This is also my local. So you can write a message or voice note if you have any questions. Just let me know. And that's it. You have a very rewarding time. Thank you.